So this is my next video introduction to my new book, The Wanderer's Legacy, which is based on the story of Lamech, Adah and Zillah from Genesis chapter 4 in the Bible. But where that's a really tiny story, I've written a really big story. So it's really exciting, and I've already read you chapter 1 in a different video, so check that out if you didn't see it. And I'm now going to read you chapter 2. Countryside near Hanok, 50 years earlier. There once was a time when Adah loved her husband. The memories of those days come vividly, with fondness even, if she's feeling generous. She was young then. For 4 prolonged seasons she'd been tending her ailing mother, a 19-year-old beauty restricted to the role of nursemaid. At first, Adah hadn't minded. She loved Imma, and the opportunity to sit by her bedside hearing legends from long ago was a blessing. Then Imma's voice and strength had ebbed away, until all Adah could do was hold her thin, frail hand and mop her sweating brow. Then the simple hut they shared in the hills constricted her like the holding cells in the city where the dangerous dwelt. When Imma's stories ceased, Adah's vivid imagination became her principal companion. Mercifully, the daily walk to the well and twice-weekly trip to the marketplace broke up her days. Yet even those which she used to enjoy with her best friend Eliana lacked pleasure once Eliana married and Adah did not. Then she had to traipse alone past the boulder-lined tracks that often hid people of nefarious intent. She pleaded under her breath, whispering all the way for Yahweh to keep her safe, imploring a name she knew little about, except that Imma had said it was powerful, protecting the Wanderer for generations. She hoped to meet the Wanderer one day. He was said to be recognisable by the scar dominating the right side of his face. Some thought it made him look fearsome, others that it showed the vulnerability of the man who couldn't die. If she saw him for herself, she could decide. She never had. The day Adah met her husband rivaled her mother's death in its importance. Imma hadn't long passed away, into which life, who knew? The pit of loss in Adah's stomach was still cavernous. For 2 such significant events to occur within weeks of each other might be called peculiar if her father hadn't planned it. Not that Adah knew so at the time. She'd been to the well later than she should, for mornings dragged in sorrowful slumber. When she returned from the blistering hike, with a large stoneware jar balanced precariously on her head, she'd never been very good at carrying it, she knew instantly that they had a visitor. The scent of nutmeg and cinnamon wafted from the hut, revealing a hospitality that her Abba hadn't extended since Imma became ill. She rounded the corner and lifted the jar from her head, nudging it down from shoulder to hip to floor. Then she saw the visitor, seated on a wicker chair, their only chair, to the left of her Abba, who held a goblet of wine. It's not yet halfway to noon. Since when did Abba drink so early? The visitor's shoulders were broader than Abba's by half, and his height extended well above the back of the chair, setting Abba in the shade, for Abba was hunched on the 3-legged milking stool. The visitor's hair, falling to his shoulders, glimmered with hints of red. The Wanderer has hair that colour, also she'd heard. The broad man laughed at something Abba said. She hadn't heard Abba joke for many moons, but now the boom from the big man infected him, and he chortled a response. He was evidently pleased with this visitor. Tremors of excitement rippled through Adah's gut. A man who pleased her Abba. That was a rare thing. A man he invited over. Its significance impressed itself onto her heart. So that was actually only the first couple of pages of chapter 2, but I will read you some more in the next video.